Welcome to Mishna study Masechet Sheviit, Perek Daled Mishnah Tet. Over here, same theme. We're speaking about when you're allowed to eat fruits in the Shemitah year. Right, you're not allowed to eat it before it's ripened stage. And over here, we're moving on to speak about olives. When you're allowed to eat olives. So zitim, olives. Mishyachnisu revi'it lase'ah, otzea ve'ochel basadeh. Once there is if you had a se'ah's worth, right? If you have a se'ah's worth of olives, and that se'ah gives forth a revi'it, a quarter. Every time we say a quarter, it's a quarter of a log, right, of oil. Then you're allowed to, crack them and eat them in the field, right? That's considered enough of a, even though it's unripe, you're allowed to really eat it at this stage because it's ripe enough where someone would eat a little bit, on the side in the field while he's outside. Okay, let's say now these olives, this se'ah of olives could give forth half a log. Then you could go ahead and eat them, break them up and anoint himself in the field, right? You could literally take the oil over here and use it as a lotion, right? You could do that v'sach basadeh. Now, if they give a third, now what's a third? So if we're going to continue on the same note as we explained before, and Harambam does, it's a third of a log, right? So a third of a log, kotesh pasadeh, you could crack them, break them up in the field, and bring them into your home, and eat them in your house. So I just explained according to Harambam. Harambam says it's a third of a log. So it's interesting. We opened with a quarter of a log. That's when you're allowed to eat in the field. Half a log, you're allowed to anoint yourself in the field. A third of a log, you're allowed to, bring them into your home. I would just point out Bartenura over here. He doesn't explain the Rash based off the Rash. He explains that it's a third, not a third of a log, but a third of what they are going to actually grow. A third of their growth, right? So over here is a third of their growth. Or he gives another pirush of a third of what they will be motzi from a se'ah once they actually ripen fully. But the point over here is, according to Bartenura, the stages are in order, right? Meaning you have a quarter, a half, you're not going to go backwards to a third, right? That's less than a half. So he says it's a third of what they're going to, a third of their growth, which is in even a later stage. Now, according to Harambam, though, right, we said it's a quarter, a half, and then a third of a log. Now, he qualifies this third of a log, and he says on condition that the se'ah, right, that this se'ah that you're using, once this se'ah, right, this measurement of olives is fully ripened, they will give forth 3 log of shemen, right? So 3 log of shemen comes out to, right, 3 log from a se'ah, right? So it's giving 1/9 of what it will ultimately, produce, right? 3 log out of a, 3 log out of a se'ah. And right, so it comes out to 1/9 of its total produce, of its total, of what it will ultimately, give forward. At that point, you're allowed to go ahead and bring them into your house and eat them in the house. Let's just finish the Mishnah. And similar, other fruits that also give forth oil. They have the similar laws. The rest of the years, they're obligated in Masrot at this time, right? Once they hit this stage, and all of the fruits of the tree, everything else we didn't mention. So we mentioned figs, grapes, and olives. All other fruits, according to when their season is, when their ripening season for Ma'asrot is, so too is their time frame, their season for Sheviit. And at that point, you're allowed to eat them on the Shemitah year. Now, I would just point out, we said, and it's a little kasher, and Harambam over here, we have to understand how is he breaking up this Mishnah? The order doesn't really make sense. Right? We spoke about, if you're going to give an order, speak about a quarter, a third, and then a half. If it's all going to be a quarter of a log, a third of a log, and half a log. Why are you flipping the order over here to do a quarter, a half, and then you're jumping back to a third? We already spoke about once they're able to give half a log of shemen, you're allowed to already, anoint yourself in the field. So I saw that, actually last time we learned this, we asked this question, and first of all, I would say that the when when you bring it into your home, that's specific for eating. But when you're going ahead and anointing yourself in the field, you still have to wait until it's until it's half, right? But again, like we said, why would you skip over the law to actually anoint it? Anointing in your, skip over and actually put it in the correct order. So we learned this way back, and Joey Pinchas actually came up with I thought, a nice answer. It made a lot of sense, and I wrote it down over here in his name. And he said that when we spoke about the third of a log, right, when you're in the field, that is qualified by another condition, and that one, a third of a log of shemen, is you're only allowed to bring it into your home when you're talking about olives that are producing 3 log. But let's say you have something that's producing less, then you can't bring it into your field yet. You have to wait, right? Producing more, actually, you have to wait a little longer, right? So that last measurement is qualified by the type of olive, by how much that olive is going to produce, whereas opposed to the first 2 measurements, the quarter of a se'ah and a quarter of a log and a half a log, that's not qualified. There's no condition that's tied to it of how good of an olive it may be. And therefore, Rambam is speaking about in an order: a quarter of a log, a half a log, and it doesn't matter what type of olive. And then if it gives forth a third of a log on condition that these are good enough olives that they're producing 3 log of oil from a se'ah's worth of olives, then you're allowed to bring it into your home. I thought it was a nice answer. And then we actually found this perush in the Mishna Melech. He actually explains it exactly according to this, based off of the way, based off Rambam over here in the perush of the Mishnah. And yeah, just wanted to share that all with you.